if we unlock education, if we give access to proper education, and just by putting a RIC in place, asking for separation of the power and the media, for example, or the power and the education, or if people get involved into a new method that can be implemented very quickly, but are not, because today there's an agenda, there's a global agenda to dumb down people's intellect. So, because it's easier to manage for them. Like if you have dumb people, it's much, much easier to manage than if you have clever people who are informed and who get access to education. So yeah, we need to occupy all those space. Like the RIC needs to be in all matters, which means that you can occupy the health aspect, the educational aspect, the economical aspect, the political aspect, everything. Like we should have a right to say our words in all those things because we are directly concerned. That as simple as that. Again, I'm getting back to common sense. Why are we giving our power away and then complaining about that? Why are we not getting back our power? On the idea of going into the parliament, some Gilets jaunes wants to create a list, a party, the yellow vest party, to go to the parliament, the European Parliament. But again, why? We don't need the European Union to represent us. We need us to become powerful. So the whole idea is not about like doing the same mistake as before, which is putting in place people in powers so they can be corrupted by lobbies and whoever, like dark forces who would like to control the masses through their representatives. We need to spread that power back to the people, because you can corrupt a small amount of people. You can't corrupt millions of people. You can only corrupt them by education, by corrupting their brain, corrupting their hearts. But you cannot corrupt them with money, or they would be actually quite happy that you do that, because it would mean that everyone would be millionaire. See what I mean? So
that's right.
So you can't really play that game with the RIC. You can only play the corruption game with that representative democracy. And we don't want that. We want participative democracy. We want to be able to participate to that democracy process and express ourselves instead of just sitting there and waiting for people to tell us how they're going to cook us. So I can't agree with putting in place a party, because the whole idea is to actually destroy the parties. Like when people get powerful, then why, like the parties become useless? Why do you need a party if you can actually speak on your behalf? If you will actually have a real vote, like your voice would actually matter. So why would you need someone to represent you? You know, like, because like institution doesn't require like representation all the time. You know, like Belgium, for example, they didn't have a government for a year and a half. And the country didn't even know that. Like,
wow,
most of the world didn't even know that. Like,
when did this happen? A few years ago?
2 years ago, yeah, 2 years ago. Belgium didn't have a government. No one even noticed this. Why? Because governments are here to put new laws in place and stuff like that, which are not always useful. Like most of them are actually quite useless, and they have to invent new laws, which are 99% of the time detrimental to the people. So like if we would basically just put in place a simple legal system and we would just implement some new laws based on new innovation or new technology or new discovery, then we would actually didn't really have to change the whole system. Like we would just vote here and there every 3 months, for example, for a new law or for a new opinion based on a new discovery, based on a new knowledge, and we will just move in this direction. Because today the power represents many aspects. They represent the justice, represent the executive, the legislative, the constitutional, and it represents the administration. Normally the power should just be in place to guarantee that the administration is working. All the rest should go back to the people. All the decision making and the legislative process should be governed by the people. We just need the system to check and control that everything is working properly. We don't need them to tell us what to do. We just need them to do what we ask them to do. Like we are the employers. We are paying the salary. We are producing the value, the economy, the work, the goods and services. We are the one doing that. We are the one in power. We are the employers. They are the employees. But if you have a business and your employees come to you and say, "Oh, sorry, buddy, I can't do that," like what should every employer that is a little bit sane should do? Should do, okay, let me teach you a little bit a few things. Like if I'm telling you to do that, you have to do it. And if the guy says, "No, I won't do that," say, "Okay, fine, you're fired." get out.
That's
if you're
right.
not competent to do what you've been elected for, then get out.